absolutely wrapped with, of course, with Winx still to come.
I know.
I mean, to make her way into the theatre of the horse.
The madness around Winx is almost suffocating. Everyone wants a piece of her. Everyone wants to get close to her. She's racing's equivalent to Muhammad Ali. And yes, she floats like a butterfly and stings like a bee.
She breaks all the records today. She's a champion, Winx.
And today, I get the best seat in the house to do it all again. When Winx walks into the theatre of the horse, all eyes will be on her, the greatest mare in the world. And what a privilege it is to ride the people's horse. But when we make the turn down the tunnel and onto the track, it's just me and her. When the gates open, it's all about getting her to relax and keeping her out of trouble. And when she gets to the corner, it's like hitting the pedal on the Lamborghini. She just goes.
Look at her rip clear inside the 200.
There's nothing like that roar from the crowd when she hits the front and goes for home. What she does on the racetrack stirs emotion. She brings tears to those close to her. It's her fight. It's her will to win. Every race, she defies belief. And today, she goes for 17 in a row. Just the thought of it excites me. It's the pressure to keep alive this great mare's invincibility. So here's to Winx. May the greatness continue.
So almost from the horse's mouth, wasn't it, from Huey Bowman? What a great piece. And there's Chris Waller. He talked about the anxiety that he suffers from, really, with Simon O'Donnell earlier today, and we know that story. We realise the pressure Chris is under. You only have to talk to him on a race day like this, but the mighty mare saddled up with all her fans, all of us, I think, coming here just expecting her to win, and that's part of the dread for Chris, I think, and the connections, Chester, because the unthinkable might happen. We don't expect it to happen, but it could. That's racing.
Oh, we really don't expect it to happen. I think we've almost given up trying to get her beaten. In every race, we're always like, oh, maybe it's the ground, or maybe it's Hartnell, remember, in the Cox Plate, or maybe it's Chautauqua last time out. But she just seems invincible, and something would have to go wrong for her to get beaten, and we don't want anything to go wrong.
No, that's the way it seems. A correct weight after the Australian Oaks. So Huey Bowman already with a big Group 1 winner with a very good filly in Bonneval. She was so impressive. She had Melbourne Cup and probably Caulfield Cup written all over her today. Perfect Rhyme runs very well again. The Squiddy Spirit, that's a mighty job to win one Oaks and be third in another. The first four was 2,744. So we come to the totes for the Longines. Queen Elizabeth, this is a strange board. We know that. Hartnell's a terrific horse, and so's Happy Clapper. And so's Exospheric, and so's the United States. And Sense of Occasions in career best form. Harlem comes with interesting form, singing, and no doubt I think are outclassed. But there you have Winx at $1.10. So the shortest priced favourite ever in this race is $1.11. That was way back. Cheska, I know, yeah, Tulloch and also General Commander won. They both won actually, but we're going a long way back. Cheska, we're all thinking about Huey Bowman, of course. We just saw him a moment ago, but somebody who is also very close, of course, is his wife Christine and his two beautiful daughters. And you had a chance this week to catch up with them and find out about their story.
But all conditions, all distances, all challenges. Here's Sweet 16 for Winx.
Well, Christine, I feel like we've got to know you a very little bit, because we always see you in the mounting yard giving Hugh a big hug after he's won with Winx and celebrating. But how did you find yourself here in Australia and married to an Australian?
So I came over here in 2002 with some horses for Dermot Weld, and fortunately they were Vinnie Rowe and Media Puzzle, and so we had a bit of success with them, and I went back to Ireland, and I thought, oh, you know, it's lovely and all the rest, but I got a bit of a travel bug, I suppose, when I came to Melbourne. So I flipped a coin, and heads was Australia, tails was America. I said, rightio, whichever this lands on, that's where I'm going to go. And so it landed on heads, and I picked Australia, so landed back in Sydney, and I rocked up to Ron Quinton's stable at Manwick to get a job. Unfortunately, Ron employed me because Ron had worked in Ireland in the 80s. And then Hugh was an apprentice to Ron at the time, and so yeah, the rest is kind of history. It was his birthday, I think, soon after I'd started, and he asked me out on a date, and I said no. And then he continued, and he asked me again, and I still said no. And the third time lucky, I said, oh, okay, well, I'll go for one dinner with you. Jockeys have these reputations, don't they, that they're supposed to be a little bit naughty, you know, so I wanted a good boy, not a naughty boy, but I was only with him, you know, a short while, and I realised he's the best boy, so I'm very lucky. He's a great husband, a really good father. He's loves his girls like no other. And you know, who's to say in five years or something? You know, a few years down the road we might have another baby. But at this point, no. I think we're very happy. Hugh's happy with all his girls, including Winx. You know, so.
Look at her, Ric Flair inside the 200.
And what about for you, watching when he's riding Winx? Your heart must be beating.
Absolutely, in my mouth. I crazy. Like when she won on the wet ground a few weeks ago, I just couldn't believe the way she annihilated the whole field that day. My eyes were popping out of my head. I just couldn't believe it. It was just the excitement of it. Just great to be part of it.
How lucky we are.
There obviously have been a lot of highlights, but what's been the main highlight for Hugh's career?
Probably Winx's second Cox Plate. Yeah, he was really very excited about that, and just sort of was blown away that
the way she did it.
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, very excited about that. So if you were to probably ask, that's probably what would be his most exciting.
2 in a row, and she joins the all-time great of the two.
Who's the main woman in Hugh's life?
I would say Winx. I would say Winx. I got asked this question the other day. You know, he's got an affiliation with like a lot of Kiwi females. Someone said to me the other day, and I said, yeah, so long as I have 4 legs and a tail, I'll be happy with that. You know.
You don't get jealous.
No. But yeah, certainly he can have an affair with Winx any day of the week. I don't mind.
What a lovely interview, Jessica. Just minutes ago, this is Christine with the Oaks and Huey's win. I mean, she's such a part of his story, isn't she?
Oh, absolutely. And for the one watching, it must be almost harder because you can't do anything about the result, yet you so want the right result for your husband or whoever it is that you're supporting. And wonderful for Hugh also to have such a great support. And Christine actually said that she thinks that Hugh really went to another level in his career when they got married and had the children and they settled down and got very serious about life, and really it took him to the next stage in his career. She also told me that when they go down to the start, Winx and Hugh, he sings her a little song to keep her calm.
We're getting great insights here. We're getting great insights, and here is Winx being saddled up as we speak right now. So the moment's nearly arrived, hasn't it, for her to go from those stalls, that stable area, into the theatre of the horse, which then everybody gets a good look at her. So she is relaxed. Professional's the word that's used so much about her.
Consummate professional. She just knows exactly what she's doing. We saw her here last week for a track gallop, and I think she even knew it was just a gallop that day, whereas she'll know it's race day here today, obviously, with the crowds and having everything go, well, coming out into the mounting yard with the other horses. She'll know it's game day for sure.
And Jessica, she was awesome in the George Rider. That was her most previous run. It was a couple of weeks ago on a very, very heavy track. She beat quality opposition, we know that.
Well, there's a grey horse behind her that finishes third, who I think we saw come out last weekend and absolutely annihilate them in the TJ Smith. And look what she does to him. And she's done that, Chautauqua, and she's done that to a lot of very, very good horses. And on conditions in the past that we thought weren't all that suitable for her, today more suitable, 2,000 metres, a firmer track, and sky's the limit. What's she going to do?
We've had a lot of favourites win this race, but it has been a graveyard for short-priced horses, the Queen Elizabeth, over the years. We've had a lot of very, very short-priced favourites not win. Our Waverley Star was one of them at $1.22. Now, he was a great New Zealander, had the battle with Bone Crusher in the previous Cox Play. Bart Cummings is Bose, and Sunline, the mighty Sunline, at $1.50. Lonro had won it the year before. He lost at $1.26. It's a done deal, who'd swept the 3-year-olds. He lost at $1.28, came back to win. So, look, you can have a very big upset in this race.
Yeah, well, you know better than me, but other than Sunline, were any of them quite as dominant as her? Were they absolute champions like her?
Sorry, what was it?
Other than Sunline, were any of them absolute champions like
Oh,
Winx
yeah,
is?
Lonro.
Yeah?
Yeah, Lonro was a champ. He won 11 Group 1s. But
Okay.
look, there's only one Winx. Winx is better than all those horses.
Yeah.
I mean, she's Kingston Town Tulloch. That's her level. She's an all-time great. Simon, do you agree with that? I feel like she's now on the absolute first page of Australian racehorses in the history of the sport.
Yeah, absolutely, Bruce, because she's absolutely a freak in both grounds. Like in the heavy, she seems to be a better horse, but on top of the going, she's still got that electrifying turn of foot. Her range from 7 furlongs to the 1.25 miles, she's won the 2200-metre Oaks in Queensland. She's done it all, but what we've got to continue to remember, she's only 5 years of age. At 5 years of age, she's done all of this within a matter of 2 years, and we're talking about her as the best of all time. And she's got a long career left in her. You would imagine she'd come back for a third Cox Plate. That's the target. She's going to eclipse Mackay Diva in terms of prize money. And, you know, Black Caviar, 15 Group 1 wins. Well, she's going to be knocking on Black Caviar's door, that's for sure. But for Hugh Bowman, you cannot handle the outside noise. He's going to have butterflies and he's going to be really excited, but when he gets on that horse and he gets out onto the track and he just lets a canter to the gates, you can see him just sink down, and then his confidence really gathers, and it's just him and the horse. You break away from everybody else, adrenaline takes over, and that's where Hugh Bowman is at his brilliant best with Winx, getting away from all of that pressure and just trusting her.
Well, Hartnell, we know how good he can be. In the Ranvet, he wasn't at his absolute top. He was at his top in the spring. I mean, he won the Turnbull Stakes after winning a couple of races by big margins in Sydney. Can he produce a career best today, do you think?
Well, I think here in this race we were looking for him to bounce back to a bit of form, having run disappointingly in the Chipping Norton. He was beaten only by a true mudlark in our Ivanhoe, and John O'Shea said he likes it soft but he doesn't like it heavy, and I think over 2,000 metres soft ground, these are his ideal conditions, and they're expecting a preparation best performance from him here, and they want him to run well and then possibly go to the Queen Elizabeth in Hong Kong.
I can see the horse behind us. Let's go to Simon O'Donnell with John O'Shea, the trainer of Hartnell.
John O'Shea, do you realise that if Hartnell wins the Queen Elizabeth Stakes, you're going to be the most unpopular trainer anywhere in the world?
Well, to be fair, Simon, I thought that I had that mantelpiece anyway, so it'll just be an extension of that. Yeah, we'll be trying to win, obviously, but we acknowledge the enormity of the task, and more importantly, we'd probably be accused of killing Bambi should we do it.
We've been watching your fellow walk around for a few minutes, just walking behind us now. It looks fantastic.
He's in great order. The only concern for us is, you know, that he has had a number of runs on very, very heavy tracks that have taken a bit out of him. We don't think that it's going to affect his performance today. We'd like to see him back to the old Hartnell. He's very relaxed. He's in good form, so you know, hopefully he'll give a good account of himself.
Well, you found some form last week. We're looking forward to you finding some form today, but the racing public don't want it to be in the Queen Elizabeth Stakes.
No, look, I'll be the first one to clap her if she wins, and when she wins, and she's been great for racing. To see how many people are here, it's wonderful. So, but we'll give it a little sneaky cheer if we happen to hit the front.
Thanks for having a chat with us on 7.
See you, mate.
John O'Shea there with Hartnell. So for viewers in South Australia, time now to switch from 7 to 7, mate, for the Longines Queen Elizabeth Stakes. You'll see Winx on 7, mate, if you switch now. So, Cheska, that beautiful grandstand that is the backdrop to Royal Randwick, and we're in a wonderful position. Hartnell's about to come into the mounting yard of the Theatre of the Horse, and not far behind him will be Winx. It is that great moment, isn't it? We're a very special racehorse. They don't come along every day. We know that. They're rare, but when they come, you do get the old goosebumps, don't you?
Well, Theatre of the Horse, it's very aptly named because right now they are 10 deep around this mounting yard, trying to get a look at Winx. Even when the first horse walked in, there was a ripple of excitement.
Let's go to Pete Moody's with Chris Waller. Pete.
A funny story. The first person I met when I came to Australia, I was a 17-year-old strapper, was this man here. And I thought, hell, what struck me, the first Australian I met's Pat Webster. But
he's very impressionable.
he looked after me, and it's been an amazing ride ever since.
So we're happy with the horse, happy Clapper, Paddy?
Yeah, very happy. Pete, he backed up this time last year and run good, so I think he's a bit better this year, but you know, the minor prize money's great, so hopefully we're in amongst it.
And the Queen?
No, she's fantastic.
Did she move as well as you did when you had your jog round Rose Hill this morning?
A little bit better.
You haven't sort of published that. That's probably your nerve settler, that little jog around Rose Hill on race morning.
Winx, she's my first runner today, and you would have felt the same when you went to Ascot. You don't know what to do with yourself, but looking forward to it.
Well, listen, best of luck, boys. Enjoy. It's going to be a great ride. The best show on turf, I reckon.
That's good.
Paddy, all the best. Chris, enjoy, mate. I know it's hard, but take it in.